Brighton come from behind to beat Newcastle 2-1 to advance to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Jules, can you explain the Anthony Gordon red card to me?
Well, because you don't agree with it.
I don't understand why you would possibly do that. You get fouled and manhandled the entire game. I'm going to choose this moment, 7 minutes from time, to go and have a little hissy fit and hit the guy in the face.
I think he lost it, and Van Eyck was putting his shirt. You could clearly see it. I think he'd had enough, and his reaction was to just push him in the face, which is not acceptable, I think. Completely, they will appeal because it's a 3-match ban.
What are they going to appeal? On what basis? So the fact that he didn't push him in the face?
No, that he was provoked, I think. That's the reaction from him. It's not like if suddenly he goes like this and elbows somebody or punch you in the face.
It doesn't matter. You put his hands in his face.
True, but it's a reaction to...
I really hope... honestly, it's nothing against Newcastle, but it should not be overturned because of it.
I didn't say he should. I'm just saying to you that they will appeal against the red card because they felt it was a reaction to... a first foul. So if the first foul is given,
that's the reality.
The first foul is given. Don't forget that Pope was sent off and suspended for the last League Cup final they played 2 seasons ago against United. If they were to lose Gordon for this one against Liverpool in 2 weeks' time now, it would obviously be a massive blow for them. Despite taking the lead, Plymouth Argyle eventually ran out of miracles and are beaten 3-1 by Manchester City at the Etihad as Nico O'Reilly backs 2 goals. Gab, City are favourites for the trophy now, even with the quarterfinals away at Bournemouth?
Yeah, of course they're favourites for the trophy. They just have better players and they have a coach who's won much more than the Bournemouth coach.
True.
So it's that. The thing about this game is the goal from Pavlarev or whatever, the Ukrainian guys. You know that was their only shot on goal?
Yeah, but that's what you expected, right?
Yeah, from the start. And I think Pep played this right. He filled the team with number 10s, right? You had Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne. This guy, Nico O'Reilly, I discovered, is also number 10, but he was playing left back or whatever. And Gundogan. So he called it, right? They're going to camp out in their box and make a green and white wall, try to hit on the counter, just have a bunch of passes, and the goal will come eventually. Even though, it was nervy for those
it was a bit
6
of a
minutes.
Shock. Yeah.
Bournemouth advance in the FA Cup, knocking Wolves out on penalties. But Jules, how about Mateus Cunha losing his rag? And people in this country are all incensed by the fact that the VAR decision took 8 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah, so for the first time we had semi-automatic offsides, like in the Champions League, for example. They were on trial this weekend in the FA Cup. So instead of having people drawing lines in the VAR room, instead it's just the robot and saying like offside or onside. It's simple, it's quick. It works very well in the Champions League. We were all very happy. And yet, in that game between Bournemouth and Wolves, the thing doesn't work. Can you actually believe this? It doesn't work.
In their defense, is what they said, is they said, well, it works great, but if there's too many people in the way, then we have to do it manually and draw lines.
So it doesn't work great. Because it doesn't work great. There's more than 3 players around, it's not going to work. So that means it doesn't work great. It's not the idea here.
And they had to check. I think that they had to check some other things too. Interfering with
but
play.
It felt even longer than 8 minutes watching on television. And then there was another one, maybe in the United game. I can't remember which game, where it only lasted 3 minutes. But
it was Newcastle.
That's right. Sorry. Yeah, not the best.
Fabian Schär's goal
of trial. Yeah, exactly. Not the best of trials for semi-automatic offside that is working, but clearly not working either.
Crystal Palace beat Millwall to advance in the FA Cup. But Jules, how about the kung fu on Jean-Philippe Mateta?
Yeah, I mean, if you believe the whole world is one of the worst challenges we've ever seen, if you believe Alex Neil, who is the Millwall manager, he's seen worse than that. I mean, I don't know where he's seen worse than that, because Liam Roberts, the goalkeeper, who I don't think just misjudged the long ball over the top, he goes and clear with his foot, except that, as well as the ball, he almost cuts off Jean-Philippe Mateta's head and ear. He went to hospital, needed 25 stitches to repair his ear, Mateta. Liam Roberts was obviously sent off, and Millwall played for pretty much the whole game with 10 men, so Palace won and everything. And Mateta is okay. I was told he was okay. I hope he can come back as soon as possible, but that was scary because that could have been far, far more serious than just stitches on his ear.
You want to give the benefit of the doubt that he doesn't see Mateta, but then Mateta is such a large man. it's hard not to see him.
Yeah, I think I think he thinks he can clear the ball without obviously making contact, but that was almost impossible to do anyway.
And it's not even like it would have been
terrible.
realistic for Mateta to get out of the way. I mean,
No, it's too close anyway.
too
but
close.
I'm a bit disappointed by Alex Neil, and I know he's your player. This is your club. You can try to defend it, but don't go up with like, "Oh, I've seen worse." You almost said like, "This was not that bad." Come on,
you know where he's seen worse? Probably as a kid, since he's old like us. He probably had a VHS videos like football's whore tackles and like other gory things. That's probably what he's referring to.
More FA Cup because you love it, Gab, and we know it. Favorite weekend of the season. Preston beat Burnley 3-0 to advance in a massive derby. The only non-Premier League team still left in the competition, and they will play Aston Villa at home in the quarter-final. But the presence of Milutin Osmajic makes them villains to some people.
Yeah, so Osmajic is the guy who he bit Owen Beck from Blackburn Rovers, got himself an 8-match ban earlier in the season.
Yeah.
And he's also a guy who's been accused by Hannibal Mejbri of racially abusing him. And of course, when they lined up at the beginning, everybody, all the Burnley players refused to shake his hand.
Which made him laugh.
He thought it was funny. But I mean...
He went for the first two and then understood that nobody else...
Yeah, look... And then he trolled the Burnley fans afterwards.
Right, he scores, and then...
I mean, look, he is a cartoon villain in this situation. Yeah. And this is how he lives it. And he probably draws strength and adrenaline from it. And yeah, it shouldn't take away, though, from Preston, what Preston have achieved. This was way back on Friday, but Aston Villa beat Cardiff City 2-0 as Marco Asensio bags 2 goals. Jules, I imagine you'll tell me City are favourites to win the FA Cup. Are Villa second favourites?
Well, I guess they had the best of the draws for the quarterfinals already. I know it's away at Preston and it won't be easy, but it's still the only team they're facing. They
got to face Osmajic. Who's Osmajic going to get into it with?
I don't know, but it's not a Premier League team. That's what I meant by that.
I want to see Tyrone Mings versus Osmajic.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The problem with Villa is the lack of consistency. But hey, guess what? City are very inconsistent too. Then you've got Brighton that have been very inconsistent this season too, who are very good but could be inconsistent. Bournemouth are playing City, so one of the two will be out. So yeah, I think Villa, of course, have to believe that it's a very open FA Cup last 8 and that they have a chance to going back to Wembley and win. The last time they were there was that 4-0 defeat to Alexis Sanchez and Arsenal, maybe. So I think they have to believe.
You haven't mentioned Crystal Palace, and yet previously off air you told me Crystal Palace were your
I want
dark
Mateta
horses.
to go and win it, yeah, of course. But I still think they might be a little bit below the other 3 that we mentioned. But I think it's super open, and that's great.
Also on Marco Asensio, can we tell people? You know who he was named after, right?
Marco van Basten?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty
We
special.
just remind people.
Just remind people.